The summoner spell Flash is literally overpowered. If an item or champion was as ubiquitous as Flash's, there would undoubtedly be a community outcry for nerfs or even outright reworks and removals of the offending item or champion. Flash is really simple. It's an additional spell that you can take into a game with you. It makes you instantly blink a small distance when you use it, and it has a 300-second cooldown. But despite how innocuous it might sound, it's completely dominated all of the other summoner spells for more than a decade. You have 2 summoner spell slots in League of Legends, but Flash is so powerful that you basically only have one choice on what to run, because your other choice pretty much has to be Flash. Flash and its ubiquity seems to be something that is just accepted in the community. Everyone knows that it's used by all 10 players in a match 99% of the time, and everyone is completely okay with that fact. Some champions don't run Flash. Champions that synergize very well with Ghost, which is another mobility spell, will sometimes run Ghost instead. Champions with very high mobility built into their kits will sometimes not run it either. Or champions that are so unique in the way that they function that their own mobility is not significant to their chances at victory. Like Yuumi, who attaches to other champions and becomes untargetable for most of the game. Yuumi doesn't run Flash, because Yuumi literally doesn't move. But aside from those few outliers, Flash completely dominates over all of the other summoner spells. So why is that? And more importantly, why is everyone so okay with it? Well, I think it comes down to 2 simple things. Flash is very versatile, and Flash is fun to play with. If you look at almost all of the other summoner spells in this list, they're all powerful in the right situation. Teleport lets you roam to impact other lanes much faster than you could walk there, so if you're a top laner, Teleport gives you a very powerful way to impact the map, so top laners will often use it. Top lane can usually be a very isolated part of the map, so being able to teleport to other objectives can be very helpful. A character like an AD carry doesn't usually want teleport, because they're weak early on into the game, so being able to do roams like that early on is not very effective for them. Not to mention that Dragon, one of the most important objectives in the early game, is just sat right next to their lane all game. Heal or exhaust is a much better option for an AD carry, because it helps keep themselves and their support alive in any fights that they do end up taking. These summoner spells are powerful, but only in the right circumstances. Flash, however, does not meet this criteria. There is no specific circumstances or criteria that need to be met for an instantaneous movement option like Flash to be useful. Even on characters with extremely high mobility, running Flash gives you 1 extra dash to use to make you even more mobile than you already are. Some of those characters can forego using Flash if they want, but using Flash is also a very viable option. Flash is extremely broadly applicable to every single situation. The reason it is basically default on almost every character in the game is because it is useful for every character, for every playstyle, in every role in the entire game. The other summoner spells are balanced around circumstantial use. They're powerful under the right circumstances, but not every character or role will find themselves needing it very often. This is why Flash dominates all other summoner spells, with an above 90% play rate across all ranks. But if it has a 90% play rate across all ranks, why are people not upset about it? Why do you never see threads on Reddit complaining about Flash being overpowered? Well, the reason that it's so overwhelmingly accepted that Flash dominates all the other summoner spells is because of this. And this. And also this.
Should easily be able to get. Apollo has to flash this.
I will dominate with the
Flash is extremely cool. It's fun to play with and against. It adds tons of depth to the game that otherwise wouldn't be there. Tons of cool mechanics that emerge from Flash's existence. Lee Sin can kick someone, then flash behind them mid-animation to redirect the kick in a different direction. A lot of champions can use a ranged spell and then flash mid-animation to either extend its range or redirect it somewhere else. Some champions can use Flash to redirect their own dashes to get knockups and stuns that would otherwise be unreachable. Even the simple act of flashing over a wall to escape a gank is much more exciting and interesting than this ADC just dying instantaneously with no counterplay whatsoever. Flash creates some of the most exciting moments that the game has to offer, and the game is better off for it. From a design standpoint, the way Riot has treated Flash is pretty risky. Flash did see nerfs after it was first released, sure, but regardless of those nerfs, it's still easily the best summoner spell in the entire game. But instead of reworking it, nerfing it, or just outright removing it from the game like they have a bunch of the old summoner spells, they decided to instead balance the entire game around its existence. They decided to make sure that every new item or character that they release is balanced in a world where they will almost certainly be running Flash. They make sure to bear in mind that even if they don't give the champion a dash in their base kit, they will likely have a dash on a 300-second cooldown regardless. They saw the potential in Flash, they saw that it was fun to play with, and they saw the strategy involved in playing around Flash cooldowns, so they worked around the overpowered thing instead of reworking it. If a single character or item is overpowered, this option doesn't really work too well, but with summoner spells, they're available to every character no matter what, so this sort of strategy of balance is something they're able to do. Flash is overpowered, no matter which way you cut it, but luckily, instead of endless balance tweaks and reworks for the spell, the game was instead built up around Flash for the past 10 years, making it a staple of the game's balance ever since. Thanks for watching.